On lily leapers, you don't have to dive at the first section, just a single jump and hold down forward should be enough. Now for this next stage, you want to follow the route I take straight down the middle, doing it in as little jumps as possible. As the jumps are further distance apart, you will need to dive as well. Also remember to dive at the end, as the impact from falling makes you fall over. For this section, just look at where the moving lilies are going to be and jump on the lilies below moving towards it. I make a mistake in this section, as I could have made it with a dive, but if you think it's too risky, it's better to be safe and jump again on the same lily rather than falling down. For the last section, I take the fastest route through the middle, but this is probably not worth doing as it is very risky, and on the slower, easier routes down the sides are much easier. This is what can happen if you do it at the same time as someone else and you jump into them. It's not worth it, you lose a lot of time. This is the slower and a lot safer route that I suggest new players doing, as it's a lot easier. If you do decide to go the fast route like me, don't forget that you can always dive if you're not quite making the jump. It just makes it that little bit safer. For this map, I just follow the lily around the map, and when the rhino comes, just jump on the lily. Basically, a game of chicken with the rhino. Even if you just stand there and miss the jump, the rhino can sometimes just ram you into the lily anyway. This is how to dodge the rhino, and this is the rhino failing massively. For this map, you want to stay at the top. As other players qualify, make sure you are there to pick up their penguins. You don't want to be with a group of people chasing after the same penguin down at the bottom like these guys. Use the fans and stay at the top level. The area next to the slide is the safest place you can be with a penguin, watching all the others squabble below. When you have a penguin, try and stand with another player that has a penguin. If a player comes, he has a choice and may decide to go after him instead of you. Also, if the other player qualifies, he will drop his penguin, and most likely, most people will rather chase the lone penguin than a player carrying one already. For Treetop Tumble, I advise you to go to the upper level for the first part, as below slows you down a lot. Don't forget to use the smaller moving lilies to have the fastest route. Run with the direction of the wheels. This is why the left hand side has an advantage, as the next obstacle is on the left side and you don't have to run as far. I would recommend not going over these bamboo shortcuts, as they are very dangerous with the frogs and not that much quicker. As you can see, this guy manages to beat me even though I did most of the upper route pretty perfectly. If you get lucky with the timing of the frog inflating, then the fastest route is straight down the middle, like this. For this map, I avoid this section at all costs, as I think it is the hardest to get bubbles. If you can see an area running out of bubbles, then that is the time to leave the area and look out for where the next area will be. If you can get there first and no one follows you, you can get 15 bubbles in one go. Also, remember to use the wheel in the middle to speed up getting to different areas. Bubbles should spawn in 2 areas at a time. I think these 2 areas are the fastest areas to gather bubbles. These punching gloves and the place I was just before. Here you can see the advantage of getting somewhere early before everyone else gets there. With the final, I decide to stand in the middle and go with whatever side opens first. There is so much luck involved in finding the right doors, it's hard to suggest tips, but my main 2 are to keep an eye on people ahead of you and which door worked or didn't work for them, and always go through the already opened doors. The second tip is to remember where you are in relation to the crown. A route always has to lead to it, so if you are close to it, it is likely the door closest will be the right door. Finally, at the end, my biggest tip is to not jump straight for the crown. If you think you won't make it, don't be afraid to have a second jump and then go for the crown, because if you miss it, chances are you won't get another chance. Here you can see the guy I've been following for the whole way jump first time and miss the crown. Then I just come along and take his crown before he gets another chance. Thanks for watching, guys. Unlucky dude.